Niche coaches right now are making 3 times more money than general life coaches, business coaches, and mindset coaches. 3 times. And here's the part that's going to surprise you. They do not have big followings, most of them don't even run ads, and they do not have big teams. They just become what I call a micro authority. And by the end of this episode, I'm going to show you the 5 things that you need in order to become a micro authority yourself, and how to grow your coaching business to 6 figures organically without ads, even if you're just starting out, even if you don't have a big name yet. Hey, my name is Hui Hui, and over the last 4 years, I've built a coaching business that generated over $5 million, serving over 500 clients in 30 countries. And what I see over and over again, the coaches who win are the ones who niche down and go deep. I covered this in my recent 3-day Speak to Lead bootcamp for over 150 coaches. Let me break this down for you in this training. I believe that going forward from 2026 onwards, the role of an authority has changed. A person of authority used to be someone who is famous like Tony Robbins, but a famous person like Tony who has 30,000 people in a stadium attending UPW, who has a huge team and who's able to do big events in hotels and all that, is going to be a thing of the past. Hotels are getting more expensive, expenses are going up, teams are harder and harder to hire and train. There are going to be so many more things that's coming into place that is going to make it significantly more difficult for the industry. And so if you truly understand where it's going, then I would like all of you to please write down this very important term here. And I coined this term just recently when I started to do my 10x authority sprint. And this term is called micro authority. What is a micro authority? Why are micro authorities winning right now? And why is it so important for you to become a micro authority? Because a micro authority right now is someone who is not big famous name like Tony Robbins. A micro authority is someone who becomes a real specialist in a micro niche. And in this era right now, coaches who really go deep into a specific needs, helping to solve a specific problem for a specific group of people, they are making 3 times more money than coaches who are general. They are making way less money than the ones who are niche and who are specialists. And so this is a very key thing to understand, because once you understand that specificity wins, the more specific you are and the clearer you are about who you help and the problem that you solve, you're going to grow 30% faster than anyone else in the marketplace. That's the first thing. The second thing is that social media algorithms right now are favoring interest information. It's no longer a social media. It is an interest media. This term is coined by Gary Vee, and he talks about how the social media is now what we used to know of gaining followers and to be able to have more likes and more engagements. That is a thing of the past. That is no longer important. Getting more followers is no longer important. Getting more views is no longer important. What is important is that you create contents that are specifically for a specific group of people, and social media will actually push out your contents to this specific group of people. So if you focus on creating contents for this specific niche and you are consistent at it, what you're doing is you're letting the algorithm be able to then discover you and then be able to push out and suggest your contents to the people who want your content. 50% of your feed right now, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, is actually not the people you're friends with. They are actually suggested, people that you do not know as well, strangers, but they are suggested to you. 50% of that on Facebook. And why is that so? It's because Facebook is tracking what your interests are and what you want to do. It's really important that once you understand that, then a micro authority, you do not need to be a famous authority like Tony Robbins anymore to be able to make a huge and good income. And you can easily make 7 figures being a micro authority. You actually do not need a huge team as well. You do not need hundreds of people in a team like Tony to be able to make a business work. You absolutely do not also need to take 10 years to build up your business to make it work as well. All you need is a solid 2 to 3 years to build your business up, to get it to a good run rate. And so micro authority is the model that is winning right now. Number 3, high ticket buyers, they want specialists. They want people who are confident of getting them results. And that's why they'll pay a premium price. And if you're someone who can get them results, if you're someone
who is niche down enough so that even if today you are just a few steps ahead, but you obsess about growing yourself and obsess about learning. And I always tell you guys, if you don't feel that your knowledge is there yet, YouTube, Google, everywhere. If you just immerse yourself in the next 14 days in learning your specific area of expertise, you will become the expert like no one else can. If you spend 30 days, 8 hours every single day for 30 days to learn that specific area, then you will truly become the expert that no one else is as well. There is so much information out there right now that you can become an expert any point in time as long as you have focus and determination. And so people want results, and so they want specialists, which is why micro authority is winning right now. And so if you want to become a micro authority, what do you need to do then? There are 5 things that you need to be able to do in order for you to succeed as a micro authority. The first thing is you got to have a specialized niche. That means your niche is not generic. It's not, I help them to overcome their past negative mindset and I help them to manifest something. No, you cannot be generic anymore. You've got to very specifically say that I am helping this specific group of people at this specific age group of people with this specific group of problems or this specific problem. And the reason why I can help them is because I have a message or I have a certain expertise due to my past experience. And then you've got the story and the credibility to back it up. And when you can do that, that specialized niche, that's the very first one. And when you can do that, you pass the first test. The second thing that you need is you need lived experience. It must be something that you've gone through before. Because if it's something that you have not gone through before or you have not gotten the results for yourself at least 3 times, then it's incongruent and people can tell over time. Which is why we make you go through the pro bono phase. Which is why we make you go through the rocket launch and then at least do it for 6 weeks to have an idea of how your program can work. Because by that time, you will at least have a good idea of what's working and what's not working. And you have experience. You definitely want to be congruent because guilt will eat you away faster than ever if you don't take care of that congruency. Third, a micro expert documents everything. They document every step of their way, meaning that whatever that they've done, they document it, and then they go tell someone or teach someone about it. Like every time I attend Russell Brunson's Inner Circle, I come back, I tell the plebs about it. So always document so that you can share it, and people can see your progress, people can see your growth. Throughout the process, right, I've been documenting my journey, the people I meet, what I learned, what I went through, sometimes ups, sometimes downs, yes? And how many of you can see that because I document my journey, you can actually relate to me more, and you even know, and some of you even know what's my favorite food, or what's my favorite dessert, or like that you guys actually know that I like Harry Potter. And because you document everything, people feel like they're part of your journey. They feel like they've seen you grown. They feel like they know you very well. And when that happens, you become a part of their lives where the law of familiarity kicks in. The fourth one is once you start to document everything that you do, right, people will start to gather around you. They'll be interested and curious about what you do. And guess what? That's when you start to have to build a community. We always talk about this, right? Building up your tribe. And when you start to build up your tribe, you build up your community, people who come because of you sharing what you know, sharing what you do, then there is a bond there. There's an invisible bond there that bonds you guys together. And finally, when they want to solve their problem and everyone comes together because there's a problem that they want to solve and they're willing to invest in you because they trust you to have that solution, that's when the last step comes in. You can make them an offer and you can monetize. And making them an offer is not about selling, but then it becomes serving. Because now they trust you, now they see that you have gone through it, they actually witness you going through it, or they witness you growing through it, right? And so the trust is established, and when you make that offer, it becomes so much easier. So what does that mean for you? What it means is, what is a micro authority? In a nutshell, a micro authority is someone that is a specialist to a tiny group of people, where people rely on you, they seek you out, they value your opinion, and you are the expert in their lives. And you don't need to have a huge number of people. All you need are just a good 20, 30, 50, 100 to be able to make a really good living out of this. And when you understand that your goal does not require you to be a huge authority like Tony Robbins, and all you need to do is just be a micro authority, then how many of you actually feel a lot more relieved that this is a lot achievable and that you don't have to go have millions of followers? Because what is working right now is actually favoring micro authorities much more than huge, famous mass authority. And so let's talk a little bit then. If you are micro authority, then what do? I call this the first 100. So before I go into the first 100, I want to talk about this very important concept here first that are called the courage trinity. Meaning that when you are building up your business, there are three stages that you will go through when you're building up your business. The very first stage that you will go through is what I call the courage to start. And during the courage to start, right, this is where your focus is on becoming a courage builder. Your focus is not on how much money can I make as soon as possible. Your focus is on how many reps can I make as much as possible. A courage builder is about showing up with courage to build reps. That's the very first thing. The second thing is once you, and I'll give you the qualifying numbers so that you understand like at what stage I'm in, okay? So the second stage is then the courage to lead. This is where you become a fearless leader. So at what stage do you become a fearless leader? It is when you are starting to build your tribe. It is when you already have contents going on, you're building people, people are coming to you, you're inviting people into your Facebook group, right? Whether it's 5 people, 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, you are building your first 100. This is your first 100 tribe. Your first 100 tribe is the most important tribe that you can build right now. So if you still don't have 100 people inside your Facebook group, what are you waiting for? That's your very first goal. And in your first 100, the key thing that you're building in your first 100 is knowing that when people first come in, you first got to have members. Have 100 members inside your group first. You can have it in a Facebook group, you can have it in a school community, wherever you choose, but Facebook group is the easiest to build. Because it's the same platform, it's a very easy to navigate platform. So start off first with doing it inside your Facebook group and building your first 100 tribe first. When you're done with building your first 100 tribe, the next phase that they will go in, they will move from members. Once you serve them, nurture them, right, and they start to get to know you more and more, your first 100 members will become the next thing, which is your raving fans. A certain percentage of the members will become raving fans because you nurture them enough. Because you show up inside your Facebook group every single week, you give them value, and you're helping them to solve micro problems one at a time. And when you do that, then they see you as the micro authority. So the next stage, once they become raving fans, another percentage will become clients. So your job is to move them from members, first 100 members first, then a certain percentage will become raving fans, and then a certain percentage will become clients. Your job is to eventually have 100 raving fans and eventually have 100 clients. So you move from first 100 members to creating first 100 raving fans to creating first 100 clients. And that's how you become a micro authority. You do not need a huge number of clients, just the 100, okay? And when you got this, what do you do for them? Understand that you're getting them from where they are right now, which is Pain Island, to getting them to Pleasure Island. Giving them the tools, the support, and all the knowledge that they need in order to get there. That's it. In other words, what you're doing is you're creating what we call the journey of transformation. The journey of transformation to get them from point A to point B. That's it. And once you understand what you're doing is you're moving them through this sequence by helping them with this, then every single day what you're doing is very clear. It's just keeping track of how many group members do I have right now? How many of them have I served enough that they become raving fans? And how many of these raving fans have I served enough so that they become clients, right? And to move them along this trajectory. So what do you do in order for you to be able to move them along here? And what do you say to them to move them along here will be these three things. What I call the 3 M's. What are the 3 M's? The first M is your mission. Why are you doing this? Who are you helping? Specific who, specific problem. And why is it that you truly want to help them? For me, it is helping new entrepreneurs. Why do I feel so compelled to help new entrepreneurs? Because I've been there stuck for more than 6 years myself. I've been broke. I have only 20 cents left in my pocket and I've got to walk home. I've ventured overseas, surviving on just eating chili sauce and rice for weeks. I know what it feels like to be a new entrepreneur who doesn't have any plan, doesn't have any idea what to do. And so my calling is to help new entrepreneurs. So I have a very specific group of people that I want to help, people who are just starting out. What do I want to help you solve? I want to help you take your expertise and turn that into an online business that can make money, a real business that eventually you know what to do for the next 10 years. You'll be able to have a business that can generate income for you. That's my goal. Very specific who for a very specific problem. And so that's all I need to do. I do not need to teach you how to invest in your wealth. I do not need to teach you how to then have a better relationship with your family. No, that's not what I will do. Although if you ask me, I can share more about that from my own experience, but that's not my core expertise. Once you understand this, that's my mission. And I'm very passionate about it, and that's why, this is my why. So your mission is the most important because it's your emotional reason why you're doing it. And emotions is energy in motion. If you do not have a reason that's emotional enough, you will not have energy to move you. And so you got to find out what that mission is for yourself. The second one is, what is your message? What is the thing that you want to share with them? My message is, I want to tell you guys that the fastest way for you to succeed is to do high-ticket programs. That's my core message. And the fastest way for you to grow a business that is sustainable is through creating a movement. It's the most meaningful, most fulfilling business that you will ever create, through a movement. And when you combine these two together, a high ticket and a movement, you're going to have a business that is both thriving and meaningful to you at the same time. And if you're someone who is introverted, quiet, shy, or you're feeling like maybe as you grow older and wiser, you want to be able to not be so loud, then you're my kind of people as well. So you share your message constantly. 365 days, 365 ways. Can I talk about introversion 365 ways? Of course I can. Can I talk about high ticket and sales and growing your business 365 ways? Of course I can. So what about you guys? Can you talk about burned out 365 ways? Can you talk about reversing diabetes 365 days, 365 ways? How many of you can do that? And that is your message. Third one is, once you have your mission, once you're constantly telling people your message 365 days in 365 ways, then the third thing that you do is to then invite them into your meetings. Invite them into your meetings, which is your events. It could be as simple as a live Facebook Live. It could be as simple as a Zoom. It could be a masterclass, 16-minute masterclass, 3-hour workshop, or it could be a 5-day challenge. Whatever that meeting is, or perhaps an in-person event, like the one that we'll be having in April. We're going to have 2 different events in April, one in Arizona. We're going to have a 2-day live in-person, first ever live in-person 2-day event, where I'm going to show you guys how to grow your business. We are doing it in Scottsdale. 15 to 16 April, Arizona, 24th to 25th April in Paris. If you are interested, then just drop it inside the chats and my team will take note of your names and we will reach out to you with all the details after that. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be really fun. I've never done a 2 days implementation intensive like that before. And we're going to go full days, okay? We're going to go minimum 6 hours each day, deep diving into business and how to grow your business and really be able to pinpoint that, especially in the age of AI. And so, when you have mission, you've got your message and you've got your meetings and you really focus on these 3, that's where the money will come, okay? That's where the money will come. So this is a very simple, very structured manner of doing it. Just remember that at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're getting them from problem to solution. And so when you're at the next stage, once you are at this fearless leader stage, the next stage for you is becoming this next part, which I call a movement architect. And this is where you need to have the courage
to scale. And between here to here, we are talking about at least minimum your first 1,000 tribe, your first 1,000 raving fans, your first 1,000 clients. And so movement architect is where I am right now. And this is where we are working to grow the movement. So when you're at movement architect, what do? You're architecting the entire ecosystem. So at this point, 99% of you are at either these two parts. Some of you are at the brink of going into movement architect. Let me know in the chat if 1 is courage builder, 2 is fearless leader, 3 is movement architect. Where do you see yourself right now? Just know, once you understand where you are, then all you need to do is just apply this. All you need to do is just apply this over and over again and bring people from members. If you already have 100 members, then your goal is to get 1,000 members. If you don't have 100 raving fans, then your goal is to get 100 raving fans. If you do not have 100 clients, then your goal is to get 100 clients. Move along this path. This is your progression path that keeps you very clear on what those numbers are. Because if you can't measure it, if you don't have a quantity to it, you don't have a number to it, right, then it's hard to keep track of where you are, okay? And so I want to make this quantifiable. At the end of the day, what kind of meeting cadence do you do? The meeting cadence that you do is basically what I call 1-7-30. 1-7-30. Meaning that you do one casual meeting with them every week, whether it's a masterclass, whether it's a Facebook Live, where you have a casual meeting with your members every week, every 7 days. So every day, you have some stories, some post that's going on so that you're documenting your journey or they get to know you, right? So you're always in touch with them. So that's 7. And 30 days is every 30 days you do one event, okay? Whether it is your workshop, whether it is your challenge, every 30 days do one event like that. And when you constantly follow this 1-7-30 cadence, that's when you're constantly in touch with them. So then that's when you can decide where and what you want to focus on from now on, okay? So let's take a pause here. I would like to be able to hear from you guys. First, what do you think is your next step forward after understanding this plan? So what do you say then on every stage that you go to? If we bring this back to what you do, I want to give you guys a framework here so that you can understand what that looks like for you. But first, I want to clarify something first, because this is something that a lot of you, if you are doing this, is one of the mistakes that I see. I call this the circle of clients. Where do your clients come from? So I call this your circle of clients. Why is it called your circle of clients? Most people try to skip this, and it takes a long time for them to find clients, okay? And if you don't skip this, if you just trust me and follow this process, right, you will find clients faster. The first one is to know that your very first circle that is closest to you, where your clients could come from, is actually your friends and family. So if you tell them that you're starting a coaching business, you tell them what you're doing, and you're very passionate about sharing your 3 M's or your first 2 M's, then whenever they think about someone who has that specific problem that you solve, they're more likely to refer them to you. So let's say if you were to open a physical cake shop, who do you think you would invite to the opening of your cake shop if you start a cake shop? Would the first 50 people that you invite into your cake shop be strangers? A lot of beginners, they feel weirded out when they think about, I need to tell my friends and family about this. Absolutely. Because you know why? It's going to give you so much more support and encouragement when they know that you're doing this and that you're committed and all in on doing it. And so that's the first one, friends and family. The second one is the friends of your friends and family. That's the second one. Because once you tell your friends and family, right, it's going to spread. And if they become your client, when they become your client and they love it, they're going to refer more. So the second one is the friends of friends and family and your communities. The communities that you belong to. Any online, offline communities, Facebook groups, offline groups, business groups, clubs, any form of communities, that's the second line of the circle of clients, where they come from. The third one would be the outermost one, which is where
is going to be your ultimate location list. The ultimate location list will be social media, it will be networking events, it will be speaking on other people's stages, it could be on PR, when you do any PR activities, all of that, collaborations, all of that. Don't avoid that, okay? Because if you avoid that, you're going to take much longer time for you to grow that circle. Okay, so this is the first foundation piece of your speaking. So if you want to be able to become a speaker, if you want to be able to speak on stages, the very first is to understand that you start off first by becoming a micro authority. And once you're the micro authority, you specialize in one niche, you have a lived experience, you document everything in your life, right? Because your life is your contents, and you start to build a community, and when you make an offer and you start to monetize, right? That's how you can turn your first 100 into fans and into clients.
So let me tie this all together for you. You do not need to be a famous authority. You do not need to have millions of followers in order for you to succeed. And you absolutely do not need to have a big team as well. You just need to become a micro authority, someone who's a specialist to a small group of people. You become necessary for them. They seek you out. They value your opinion and they see you as the expert in their lives. So specialize in one niche, document your journey, build your community, turn your members into raving fans, and from raving fans, turn them into clients. And when the trust is there, make the offer. Follow the courage trinity. Start as a courage builder, build your muscle, and give yourself 2 to 3 years to grow your coaching business. Stay in the arena, do not start and stop. The coaches who win are not the ones who are the most talented, they're the ones who are the most consistent. And if you want help getting started, download the High Ticket Coach Blueprint below using the link. I would love to be able to hear from you. And drop a comment below and let me know what you think about being a micro authority. The world needs the next version of you, not the famous version, not the perfect version, but the authentic version of you who's willing to show up and lead the way. Thanks for watching this episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.